Jeremy? How we doing, man?
What up, Isaac? I'm good. Appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, no problem, man. Of course, I've had to for a while now. What have you been up to here today? Are you on break right now?
No, my spring break is next week, actually. So, spring ball for Georgia Tech football started this week. So we got a lot of practice content, a lot of spring ball content coming your way.
Right.
So that's exciting, and that's going to lead up to our spring game, which is April 13th, White and Gold game. So
Okay.
a lot of things happening at football on our end, and then me personally, just staying busy with school. I have an internship with NBC Sports, which is ramping up for like the Summer Olympics. So that's really exciting. And then, just trying to have a social life, be a college kid.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably understand the work-life balance that goes into college and
Yeah.
live as well.
Right. No, it's definitely a task there. I read through, like, I know your life just from socials, but I looked into it a little more. It said maybe you're like a football creative, but I've seen you record for other things for GT too. But are you mainly called like on the football creative team, or is it more athletics in general?
Yeah, so I specifically work for Georgia Tech football's creative team.
Okay.
But what's really nice about Tech, which is a lot different than other Power 5 schools, is the athletics program is really open and really free to allowing creators at football or creators at Tech to shoot their games, shoot basketball, shoot baseball, shoot volleyball. And honestly, for me, like when I'm burned out with football, it's really nice to go to a different sport, be able to show support, be able to get content for the athletes that may not get as much content as football.
Yeah.
And it's really fun too. And so having that flexibility shooting a D1 Power 5 school, not just football, but other sports as well, it's a unique opportunity, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen volleyball stuff from you, and I'm sure you've hit other ones that I can't recall off the top of my head. No, that's really fun. I've actually, I've talked about you, I've mentioned you so many times on this because I've talked to so many other schools' creative programs, and I'm just like, yeah, I feel like what Jeremy's doing over at Georgia Tech is just way better than what we're seeing from other schools. What's made Georgia Tech's media thrive, being open and recruiting creatives? Like, what's the difference between Georgia Tech compared to all the other creative teams?
I appreciate that. I will say, like, the new age of creatives, there's so much opportunity for students coming in college or having their own company like you do.
Mm-hmm.
So much opportunity in a city like Atlanta, and just being at Georgia Tech, that degree holds so much value. And so when I first came in, we didn't really have any students at Georgia Tech football. We didn't have any creative students. And so now that I've gotten there, I've been able to bring a few people that I've known in the area who are going to Georgia Tech and bring them onto our team. So now we have about 7-8 students on Tech football's creative team, and we're hoping to bring in a few more next fall. And so it's really cool to be able to tap into that young creative community in Atlanta and give these students the opportunity to make content, shoot football games, especially at the D1 ACC level. Mm-hmm. And something unique about Tech that's, I think, is a little different than other schools is you go to some of the top programs in the country, you start off as a freshman, you may not even get in when you apply. You might have to work your way up from, like tagging footage, logging footage, tagging in photos, and influencer. But at Tech, we've had great opportunity for freshmen to be shooting games, editing games, traveling to games. Myself as a freshman, I had the opportunity to travel to almost every single away game, and that was an experience like no other. And I think Tech has that unique, it's still D1 Power 5, but it gives you so much more opportunity as a student, as a creative.
Yeah. I never really got into the Iowa State creative world, which is where I went for few years, and it was more, I kind of got into that. I mean, I applied late too, but I kind of noticed it was more of a seniority thing, and I'm like, wait, why don't we just let's look at like portfolios here, like, let's have that kind of just get everyone involved somehow. I mean, it's a big sport,
100%. I mean, I wish you can come work for Tech.
Yeah.
We collab somehow.
Yeah.
But I would say the seniority thing, it makes sense because you put the work in as a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and by the time you're a senior, you have 3 years under your belt. I do understand that. And for bigger programs that, have 50, 60, 100 students, obviously you can't have 100 students shooting one football game.
No.
But it's unique at Tech just because we don't have that many students.
Right.
So you have that opportunity to be shooting on game day, to be traveling with the team, to be working with our coaches and players directly. Yeah. And I think that's unique. I don't think I'd trade it for going anywhere else in the country just because Tech has provided so much for me in my career.
Right. So when you did that announcement video, which I feel like it's like one of the iconic videos that I see, that I just remember, I'm like, wow, this is really unique, kind of a recruitment video for content creator. I mean, we don't get ourselves going like that. But I kind of thought of it as like they're seeking you out because they're established. But it was more of like you're going there to innovate the space kind of a role, which is what I didn't realize.
So what I will say is I actually was not planning to go to Georgia Tech at all.
Yeah.
I applied last minute. My friend was like, hey, like, you should apply just in case. It's an in-state school. You have good grades. So I applied last minute, really wasn't thinking about it. And then February of my senior year of high school, the head creative for video for Georgia Tech football actually DM'd me on Instagram. His name's Glenn Ingram, who is now one of my bosses, who has been a great role model for me through the years of college. But he DM'd me and he reached out and he was like, hey, we really like your work. Like, do you have any interest in coming to Tech? And I was like, absolutely. Like, really, Georgia Tech's one of my top colleges. In the back of my head, I was like, Tech really isn't known for creative, for media. But after looking into it more, I was like, this could be a unique opportunity. Not a lot of creatives are at Georgia Tech. Not a lot of people are doing the football scene at Tech in Atlanta. So I think that could be a really cool combination. Mm-hmm. And so Glenn, his boss, Ian at the time, and my family and I, we all hopped on a Zoom call. He later gave me a tour of the facility and I was sold. So Glenn's the reason why I'm at Georgia Tech today.
Yeah.
And why I had so much great opportunities because he initially reached out to me and offered me a spot on the creative team.
Yeah, I mean, the space more, but I haven't heard opportunities come about like that for this field. Like that's not usually how it works. I feel like it's like get on campus and get connected right away, rather than they're reaching out to you years before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Isaac, I don't know if you've seen, but like nowadays there are kids like 14, 15 years old. I don't know if you've seen this. They have cameras. They're editing in Premiere, DaVinci. Like they have better setups than I do, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, like. These kids are starting so young.
Yeah.
Like they're in middle school, like using After Effects.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen that at all?
I've seen a lot of young creatives. I mean, I know a few in our chat, and then I'm just looking around on Twitter and stuff, and I just saw, what age was he? Between 13 and 15, and he's done work for like Samsung and done work for other huge brands, and he has his own website and stuff like that. I mean, they're getting younger and they're getting better fast. It's like, wow.
Yeah, and that's really cool to see because now at Tech, we've tried to reach out to younger creatives who are planning to go to a college in Georgia, like a college in Georgia. And we're like, hey, if you're going to go to college and the University of School System of Georgia, you can come work for Tech. You can come shoot for us. You can come be a part of our creative team. And so that's a big thing for creatives in the area who grew up around the Georgia Tech area is they can see that, hey, Jeremy was able to go to Georgia Tech, film for them. Why can't I do the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're opening those opportunities up for young creatives in the area. And I think that's what's a little different is that the college, we're actually trying to reach out to people who have similar interests. So it's more of a mutual benefit than anything, right?
Oh,
like there's high schoolers that really want to work in college sports. And then there's also us, the college creative team, who want to include more students and more opportunities for them. Mm-hmm. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Yeah. You've always been an Atlanta man, right? Like growing up?
Yeah. For the most part, my family's from California, but for the most part, I've been born and raised in Atlanta. Yeah. Not born. I've been raised in Atlanta.
So how bad before Glenn reached out did you want to get out of there? Or would you like Atlanta?
I actually really like Atlanta. I live 45, 15 minutes north of Atlanta, so in one of the suburbs. But Atlanta always had so much opportunity. And so even though I didn't initially want to go to Georgia Tech, I knew that Atlanta had a lot of opportunity and pro sports for me to join and get connected with. So when Glenn did reach out, it made me want to research more about Georgia Tech, the Institute, and then the city of Atlanta, what opportunities that held for me. And so honestly, the more I looked into it, the more it was selling for me. The more I was like, I could really see myself at a tech school, but still be involved in sports.
Yeah, I looked at that. So, I like to learn different like geographically areas. I like to look into that. So I looked up Georgia Tech. I'm like, hey, that's right downtown. That's kind of nice because like as a sports creative, you got Tech right here where you're starting out. You got multiple professional teams. Does NBC do work there? Or is that a different kind of, or do you have to go somewhere else to do that?
Yeah, so right now with NBC Sports, I'm interning remotely.
Okay.
However, when I covered the Beijing Winter Olympics in 2022, we all got flown up to Stamford, Connecticut to their NBC Sports headquarters.
Okay.
And that wasn't directly related to Georgia Tech or Atlanta, but I will say having that Georgia Tech brand, having that name, it just means a lot to people who are hiring, who are employees or employers looking for students who want to get into the media space. And you can phrase it as like Georgia Tech is really into technology and innovation. Combine that with media and social media. Like those are two areas that are constantly growing. You see AI every day, like doing photo, video, graphic design. So I think Georgia Tech has the opportunity and the potential to really push the technological boundaries of creative media.
Mm-hmm. And I always like hearing the behind the scenes. You just see a lot of creatives, they should, like when they're in the sports world, is once they're done with college, they just go to another professional team or maybe another college. And you're not done with college yet, but you did like an NBC type thing. How did that come about, and what did it take to get out of your way and get an opportunity like that on a more, I'd say almost like a prestigious kind of level? I'd say that's pretty up there.
It's very different. You think college sports, pro sports, that's very running gun on the weekends. You're traveling, you're shooting, you're filming, you're producing. You're doing everything in terms of what's being posted on social media and internally. At NBC Sports, I was a small part of the huge organization that NBC Sports is. And so it was a really different learning experience for me, working 12-hour shifts during the Olympics, a really unique time of a ton of content, a ton of big-name athletes. It was really cool just to experience it, but it was also a very different experience working in an office setting, editing 12 hours a day versus shooting, producing, planning at football. So two very different jobs to tackle, but I enjoyed both of them. I really enjoyed the unique experience NBC Sports gave me.
And you said you were on location?
Yes, I was. So they flew all of the interns or production assistants out to Stamford, Connecticut, and we lived there for 4 weeks in a hotel. They fed us, they housed us.
Right.
It was a very unique time, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to Paris 2024, the Summer Olympics this summer. I'll be doing the same thing with them.
Gotcha. And I'm guessing it was based off of, your first experience, making it easier to get to the Summer Olympics.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think without the Winter Olympics experience, I wouldn't be where I am as a creative today. I wouldn't have the opportunity to do the Summer Olympics again.
Yeah.
It's a really cool opportunity. It's unique. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, how'd that come about, the first time?
Yeah, so my aunt, who is actually a video editor in the motion, she's a video editor in the movie industry. She actually recommended it to me. She was like, hey, she doesn't work for NBC Sports, but she saw it from a good friend of hers. His name is Michael Schanzer, who is a NYU professor. And he was like, hey, you should send this to your nephew, see if he's interested in it. And so I was like, wow, the Olympics, it doesn't get much bigger than that.
No.
So I applied for the digital production assistant job and then got through the first round of written interviews, got through the second round of live recorded interviews. And then the third round of interviews was a call with the two boss men who run NBC Sports, who run the digital Olympic content. And that call went really well. And I got an offer letter. And for me, they told me I was the only freshman that has ever been or worked for them. So I'll restate that. They just told me that I was the first ever freshman that they had working for them for the Olympics. And so when I got there, all the other digital production assistants were 21, 22, 23, 24 years old. And I'm there, just turned 19, little baby. They called me the baby of the group. But for me, it was a really cool experience getting to learn from a lot of people who were graduated from college already working full-time in the industry, who had this opportunity to work the Olympics. And so I got a lot of knowledge and experience just talking to full-time professionals and being around older people. It made me really mature quickly and understand that, hey, this is like the work life, working a 9 to 5. But in our case, we were working a 12 to 12 on day time. So It was a grind, but it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, contrasting how me and you recorded in high school, it's all us, probably less systems, than we have now. And then college, it gets a little better. But how was seeing NBC's system of how they do things, one of the biggest production things in the world?
100%. It was really eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
Right? You and I both, we'll sit down, we plan what we're shooting, we go shoot it, we edit it. Obviously, it's a little more hard than that. It's a little more detailed than that.
Yeah.
But at NBC, I was a digital production assistant, which is not the highest. I was a student, I was an intern, so I was a little lower. So what I was doing is I was pulling the best shots out of the TV feed, out of the melts, out of the slow motion clips, and I was sending those to our pre-editors and our editors and our producers for them to edit and sort and go through. So they had 20, 30 people just going through clips sorting. That was our job the whole Olympics. But it was really fun because you would have other things to do, such as researching about these athletes, researching about these sports, because we're not just pulling clips that look good. We're pulling clips that mean something to a storyline, or mean something to the gold medal winning athlete, or mean something to Team USA. So we had a lot of research on our end that we had to do, and understanding the sport and the athletes. But at the end of the day, we were pulling clips for producers and editors to use.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference of, like, at football, we do it all. We shoot, we edit. But at NBC, you're a small part of a huge system that's working super efficiently, super effectively. Yeah. And it's cool to talk to those editors and producers and see where their head is at. Like, oh, what do you need from me as the production assistant? Like, what can I do a better job of? And then to see them use my footage and my clips in their videos, it's pretty cool. It's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. How do they get the footage? You got multiple of views going through these things. How do they get the footage from the cameras in Beijing to on your computer ready to sort? Like, how do they get that file size there?
That's a great question. They found out a way ever since COVID to send it all wirelessly and live. So let's say we're doing figure skating, for example, all the live feeds of figure skating, whether that's what you see on TV or all the cinematic cameras, they're all coming in live. And so we're live cutting everything and sending those out to our editors and producers, and you think about it, like, if they're all red cameras, that's got to be tons and tons of terabytes of footage. But NBC Sports is a huge corporation. Yeah. They have a room full of hard drives. I can't really say anything else, but they have a system and it works really well. And I'm just a little part of that system and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. Did you bring anything? Well, it's kind of hard because it's different, but did you bring anything you learned there, like tagging wise or anything, and bring it back to Georgia Tech and kind of change your systems a bit? Or is it kind of too different to apply anything?
They are very different. I will say, just being mature around other professionals, dressing in the workplace, that's not something in football. Like, football, I wear anything that's Georgia Tech related and I'm good. But just sense of maturity in the sense of, like, it's so much bigger than you. I think a lot of creatives in high school and maybe even in college, there could be an ego sometimes just because you make cool stuff. So, and people like your cool stuff. So, the follower count, the like count can really get into some creatives' heads. But when you work at NBC Sports and you are literally pulling footage 12 hours a day, like, it humbles you a little bit. But I'm thankful for that experience, and coming back, it's still a really cool thing to have on my resume to work into my portfolio. But also it teaches me humility and knowing that there are people who are producing these segments, who are editing these segments. And that's where I want to get to one day.
You want to get there. You like that.
I do like it.
You like the bigger systems, yeah.
I like both. I mean, I don't know if I could ever quit shooting and editing.
Right.
I mean, for you, your company, you run and gun, you do it all.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So I think there's always going to be a component in my life where I'm shooting and editing and planning and producing. But there's also a component where it's really nice to have a job that's a 9-to-5 or a job that has retirement benefits and insurance benefits and has a system in place.
Yeah.
So that's actually a question that I've struggled with myself. Being a junior in college, I don't know what I want to do after college yet, because you could go that corporate NBC Sports route, or you can go work for a college sports team or pro sports team. You could freelance, like, you can have your own company. So there's a lot of different avenues that I'm still thinking of, and I have a year left, so yeah. I still have some time.
Yeah, you're chilling. You got some good opportunities under your belt that are. I mean, I look at them and I'm like, damn, heck yeah, let's go, bro. But dial it back, man. When did you start video? When did you first, like, shoot? Maybe it was a high school game or whatever. What did you shoot?
Yeah, so 8th grade, I played soccer my whole life, and so when my club team would travel to different tournaments, film on my phone little, like, travel videos of us at hotels, at the soccer field, in the car ride. And so those turned into just little passion projects. And then when I got to high school, my freshman year, I joined the audio, video, television, and film program, the AVTF program at my high school, picked up a school camera, went to go shoot the very first football game of the year, made a video. It was pretty trash, but no one really did that at my high school. So it was the first ever, like, football video that really got views and populated on everybody's like Instagram and on our high school live stream. And so from there, I loved it. I loved that experience. And so ever since then, I just kept shooting high school sports. I kept shooting football games, basketball games, soccer games, and just kept getting better. And as you know, the more you do it, the more you learn your style, the way you want to film, the way you want to edit. And then from there, just through high school, I got to shoot my own school and other schools across Georgia.
And you said you joined a program, but they don't really do like football videos. What did your program do that you joined?
They did a lot of broadcasts, so live broadcasting sports, live broadcasting our news show every morning.
Yeah.
And I think that's valuable, is to learn how to wrap a wire, how to wrap a cable, how to work as a technical director, how to work a camera operator, how to host. Me and my friend were the game day hosts on our live show. And so I think having that knowledge and that information is just as valuable as learning how to edit and shoot, because you want to know the other parts of the industry, how it all works. So I'm forever grateful for learning about broadcast, just because it gives me more variety when I apply for jobs or apply for internships.
Right. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people go straight creative and stick with that, but you kind of forget about the whole other broadcasting side of it, and you're kind of like, I'm down for both. I'll try it. I like that.
I mean, like, even for you, like doing your own podcast, like that's not exactly your like specialty that you started with, but your podcast is growing really well, and you've gotten a ton of other creatives on it. But I think that's something that, like in broadcast, I don't see myself in broadcast.
No,
I think it's a cool asset. It's a cool tool to have.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is. I don't do it for any expectation. I mean, you'd be surprised how slow podcasts grow, and I honestly just do it like the worst case scenario is that you have a good conversation with someone valuable each week. I mean, if you can accept that, it's a great thing to do it. And with this pod, it's like, if I have the capabilities and I have time, why not? Why not? What I already told you the worst case. That's it. I got to talk to Jeremy this week. Good stuff,
And I think it's cool being able to talk to other creatives.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've never talked face to face, like not even like on a Zoom call. So I think this is really cool. We've followed each other's work, but
forever.
Yeah. But I think it's really cool to be able to talk to other creatives, just pick their brain about how they create, how they live their life, like in the creative world, and just, living as a kid, living as a young adult. I think it's cool to see what other creatives are doing across the country.
Yeah, and speaking on myself, I mean, I'm in the middle of the country in a more rural area. Not every person around you is a creative. Actually, you will not find very many at all. So I talk differently to people that I know online, because we have a knowledge that both of us share, and it kind of accentuates that for me. And all those conversations before my pod have been private. And I'm like, hey, these could be kind of valuable. Some people around me might be wanting to do this stuff and not have the confidence, because they also grew up with no one around them that wants to do it, and now they have an avenue that they can listen to it from. So it's been really sick, but it's been good. How important was high school sports to you getting better?
I think it was everything. Right. I think high school sports is where a lot of creators find their passion for it, where they have a lot of flexibility and freedom to kind of make whatever they want, right? And so being able to shoot not only my high school, but get connected with other high schools in Georgia. There's some amazing football programs in the state of Georgia, some of the best high school football in the state of Georgia. So connecting with different athletes, different coaches, different teams, these 4 or 5 stars who are going to marquee programs, it's cool to have those connections and keep them in college. So when I was shooting the SEC championship game, I saw a lot of players that I knew from shooting high school sports when I shot their high school games. And so building those friendships, building those relationships with players, coaches, other students, it's key. I mean, as you know, networking is key in the creative industry.
So you more than most, you're pulling up to, games in your conference or even other conferences, and you probably know at least one person there. And
That's the goal.
The unique thing is, players too. Like a lot of times it's just creative on creative, which I know you know a ton, but yeah, like you said, recording for those programs, I mean, you start to know players too. That is sick. Yeah, it's fine, but like one of my things that I wish I would have done more is the way I got into like photography and more video is I wanted to start like a clothing brand, and I'm like, I want to take dope photos of my shirts. And then from there, I always had a camera in my hand, but I overlooked high school sports. No one was recording my games. Just like you said, no one was really recording your games. And I overlooked that. I only recorded a few. Like, if I was a young creative, I'd be at every single one of those high school events. I mean, it's free practice, and it's so like you just get reps out, you know, video editing and all that. You just get reps out over and over again. It's the best way to learn, you know, creativity, in my opinion.
Yeah, say that louder for the creators in the back. I mean,
Yeah.
repetition, just shooting and editing, and then fixing what went wrong and what you learned from that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I don't know how it is in Iowa high school systems, but here in Georgia, like, there are so many creators in high school. You go to any football game, you will see a camera on the sidelines, if not multiple cameras on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Atlanta's developing a really good community of young creatives who are going to pave the way for future generations to come. And wherever they go to college, or if they're going to be full-time creatives, it's going to cause a boom in the industry. And like, there's so many good media people here.
You say that, is that a newer thing, or has that kind of been the way even when you got into it?
I think when I got into it, there were people who did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was like you see cameras on the sideline galore.
Yeah.
Like, I might be there, maybe one or two other people. But now, like, even at my own high school, I've heard that there are 5, 6, 7 cameras just on our own sideline.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count the other team's sidelines who also has 5, 6 cameras going on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's there in Iowa. You know, Des Moines is the capital, which is like, it's only 400,000 people. It's pretty small. And then I was at a school that had like 80 people per grade. So our like high school was like 300 people. So there's no one on those sidelines, you know. So you know, you can take those over. That's what I think is, especially if you go to a smaller school, you can take that over. I mean, you get every opportunity you need to because they don't have anyone doing it. Now, you live in a bigger suburb, it might be a little bit of a, you know, like, oh, you got to be seniority basis or whatever. They might have to start limiting it now, but a lot of times you can take that over. You said you worked with a lot of other schools. Were you involved with like the athletic association at all in Georgia?
yes, I was. So I actually worked with the Georgia High School Athletic Association.
Mm-hmm.
It's called GHSA.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just starting out in branding and posting on social media. So video was a pretty new concept for them. So I would say I was the first to really work for them as a student and pump out content for the football state championship games, for the soccer state championship games. And I was just the start. I didn't do too much. They gave me a little bit of freedom to kind of just shoot whatever, give them whatever I made. But then from there, I actually had my little sister, who's a good friend of mine. Her name's Sarah Hoban at Hoban Films. She was a freshman when I was a junior in high school. And so I took her under my wing her freshman year. And when I graduated, she took over GHSA and she took it. She made it go viral.
Yeah.
She took off with it.
Wow.
Like, I only made a few videos for them, but when Sarah took over, she went crazy. She shot basketball state championships, wrestling state championships, gymnastics state championships, cheerleading state championships. She made a video for almost every state championship possible. And you would just see all these Instagram reels on the GHSA page do so well. She was growing a ton as a creative. I mean, shooting every state championship game, there's going to be athletes and coaches and teams and parents who see her work, who are like, wow, this creative is shooting so much and making great content. So then when she graduated, there were 2 younger creatives under her who me and her both knew. We recommended to the head guy, and now they're absolutely killing the game. I mean, they both know After Effects. They both have many connections in the industry, and they're right now just finished basketball high school championships, and some of their content like is better than what I see in college. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool to like start something where I made a few videos. Sarah took it over. She revolutionized the whole GHSA content. And then now there are 2 younger creators who are currently doing it for GHSA who are killing the game.
Yeah, and it's only been, what, like 4 years since you've been there, and it's already leveled up this much. You know, you got this many people, you know, I mean, they know After Effects. That's how you know that they're baller. Yeah, but Sarah Hoban, she's at Alabama, right?
Yeah, she's doing Alabama Gymnastics. She's doing their video.
Gotcha. And I can't imagine that those media teams are any small.
They're pretty good. So what's unique about Sarah is she originally was going to work for Alabama football, and she was the first ever female creative to work for Alabama football, which is a pretty cool, pretty cool accolade.
Yeah.
But she decided to work for gymnastics instead because she has a cheerleading gymnastics background. Mm. And what's really cool is that she's their main video person. So she travels to every away meet. She's at every home meet. She's at practices. She makes their external videos social. She makes their internal videos for the team. So as a true freshman, that's a lot of content that she's pumping out every week.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with her about just how much her workload is, but she's killing the game, and she's just gotten to college and she's already doing all of that for a D1 team, top ranked in the country.
You don't see that. Yeah, are they good in gymnastics?
They're amazing. They're top in the SEC.
Wow. Dang. Dang, man. That's nuts. How many other people that I know have you seen? You've probably seen everyone. You've seen Abby from Clemson. You've seen, who else is around?
There's a lot in the ACC. I know Abby from Clemson I see at least 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
Just 'cause we work together so much, or our teams are playing each other. I've seen Josh too, plenty of times, just because UNC and Tech always play each other.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else have I seen? You meet so many creatives just on the sidelines. Oh, University of Georgia, we play them every year. Their football creative team they're our rivals, but their football creative team is really good. And I've gotten to know a lot of people there: Audrey, Alex, Adam, Sam Schwartz. Like, their creative team is great. And as they have so many students, and their students do a really good job of fitting in with their program and creating their content.
Yeah.
So it's always cool to be able to like visit another school and see another creative that you already knew, that you're friends with, and just reconnect with them. Because at the end of the day, networking with other creatives, learning from other creatives, that's the best way our community is built, is like through positive influence and through positive inspiration from others.
Connected world's a more fun world. I mean, in my opinion, I like connecting with people. Makes it a fun one. You get to be friends. You get to smile at each other. It's a good time.
100%. And we all share a passion.
Yeah.
Which is even more important.
Yeah. So one thing that deters me away from the scene that you're in is just having to show up everywhere a lot of times. Is that contribute to burnout at all? Like, are you ever like, oh, I can't be showing up to this? Or are you pretty dedicated toward it? Is it just a different mindset?
I think it's both. I think my freshman year, I was really working hard, trying to get connections in football and athletics. And as a freshman, I didn't have every opportunity. And so I wanted to earn it. Yeah. And that would be just hours and hours of time I got to put in. But being a junior now, I realized that burnout's really easy when you work so many hours and you're not enjoying college enough. You're not being a kid in Atlanta. So I would say now I have a really good understanding of the work-life balance of, working hard at football, putting my hours in, dedicating my time there, but also, having fun, hanging out with friends, going out.
Getting boba.
Oh God, getting boba. I mean, it's things like that where and even in like the real world, the industry, having a work-life balance, being able to step away and hang out with friends, to have some alone time, to be able to focus on other hobbies and passions. I just picked up skiing because my brother taught me how to, and I try to go every weekend I can, just because it's something fun. It's different than shooting.
Yeah.
And I have a good time with it. So I think finding that work-life balance, it's never going to be perfect, but it's always something that I strive for. And I think it makes me healthier as a person, physically, emotionally, mentally.
Right. Yeah. I struggle with that big time because this is my hobby, but also it's turned into my work. So it's like, oh shoot, which isn't the worst thing, but I enjoy that.
How do you balance that? Because I guess for you, it's a little different. For me, I'm still a student, so I still take classes. I still have a little blanket.
Yeah.
But for you, like, this is your job.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance I need to get gigs, I need to shoot more, I need to edit more, I need to get more clients, with I need to take some time for myself, I need a vacation?
Yeah, so figuring out balance, getting better now. First year, I mean, I withdrew from college because I was taking on clients while I was in it, and I'm like, I think I could do this. Let's try it. So I did. And that year was like, it felt like life or death the whole year. So not much balance was had there. A lot of struggle there, but you need that. So once I got less to a life and death point, I have a livable amount of money coming in, still being frugal, but like, that's not, I really like this stuff. So right now it's just been, a lot of this is me, and that's been fulfilling me the most. I notice a lot of the things that I try to do for balance sake don't really balance me very well. But the main things is like, all right, am I keeping up with my work? Am I keeping up with my family? And am I, staying active? I mean, that's the things that I really need to maintain balance. So I'll just give you what I do in a day. It's kind of, no, it's fine. I just wake up and I have zero resistance from me to my computer, just as fast as I can possible. I just love that. I get a cup of coffee and I go. And I just sit there and get as much as done as I can humanly take, because I love it, why not? And then I'll get to about 2 in the afternoon, and I hate life at that point. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. And you go get a workout in and you get yourself some rest, and then I do it in the afternoon, and then after that, a little more, a few more hours. And then after that, it's like, getting a nice meal or talking with some friends or talking with family. And that's the most I feel satisfied, working towards something purposeful, not exactly short term. No, I don't like going towards short term satisfaction, because a lot of the times that is just not great when you think of things that give you satisfaction in the short term. But it's more like, what am I building here? And when I'm building something each and every day, I can get by without that kind of balance, you know what I mean? Just because I feel so good about that. But when I want to rest, I rest, and I get by. And then, of course, every few weeks you're going to have an off day, or sometimes even weekly. But and then I go on those little mini trips. You talked about my Lakers hat. I mean, I went to Southern California, and I was just in a new spot. During the day, I was honestly just keeping in track with what I normally do here in Iowa, but at night I was hanging out with family and seeing some new spots, and I think that's what the world's about, getting towards something every day. But it's a different way for sure. I wasn't able to do as much as I am now, obviously, while I was in school, and it was worse for me. School was... It didn't feel like I was building up toward anything, like I know if it is for a lot of people. A lot of it feels really great. But for me, it was like, this is what I need to be doing all the time. So sometimes it's just the weirdest life changes up in order to maintain that balance. So kind of a weird answer, but that's, I don't know. As long as I'm building up towards something, I'm good. And obviously I get tired every once in a while, but.
No, that's a good answer. I mean, the work-life balance is different for everyone.
Yeah.
I will say, like, with the degree that you're talking about, just like how it's not for everyone. It really isn't. Like, sometimes creatives could go on their own freelance full time and make it work, and I applaud them for that.
Yeah.
I will say, and I'll plug the Literature, Media, Communication School, the Ivan Allen College of Liberal Arts here at Georgia Tech. We have a lot of great opportunity here at Georgia Tech, in LMC, if not in Ivan Allen, and in the city of Atlanta. And I think it's unique just being at a tech school, but also having that liberal arts creative background.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going after not a lot of media opportunities where I applied to. I was very lazy with the applying process because I didn't even know if I wanted to go. So I went here, got a business thing, and obviously it hit my opportunity on the dot, but it didn't quite get that media in there a little bit. But there's a lot of great programs out there that I know a lot of people learn from, for sure. Dang, man. What else is new? What's on your mind? What are you looking toward? What are your goals? What's on your mind right now?
I would say Summer Olympics, just making sure, I take care of what I need to take care of, really come in with an open mind, work hard, just because I feel like it's a big opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a digital production assistant anymore.
Okay.
I'll be helping out with the editors. So that would be a step up, which I'm really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Just being more involved with NBC Sports, being more involved with football, and then also being present with my friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, like, work-life balance this semester and last semester was everything, and being able to really enjoy life outside the creative space, because in the creative space we enjoy it, we love it, but outside you have a life too, and that's what I'm starting to figure out.
Yeah.
So that's what's on my mind, is just making sure that balance is there.
Yeah, no, like I said, that was part of mine, is like, you find those small groups of friends and family, and you got to be in contact with them too. I'm glad you're enjoying that. What do y'all do besides, the ski and stuff, and, just getting like family dinners and stuff or whatever?
Getting boba, I mean, we got to do that. Hot pot. I love hooping. I love playing football. I love soccer. Like, just playing sports, being active. I mean, my whole friend group, we call ourselves AGA, after game activities, but my whole friend group, they all play collegiate soccer. They all play collegiate soccer, collegiate sports. And so being surrounded by them, it's a different level of drive and, passion and dedication playing in a collegiate sport. So when they come home for the summer and they're training, like, I'll go train with them. I think it's really cool. It's unique to be around athletes who, put so much time into their craft and their effort, because at the same time, we do the same thing, just not on the field. We do it in the lab on a laptop.
The lab. Yeah, I'm in a lab right now. I'm not in my bedroom. I'm in the lab. I like that. I like that a lot.
But I think surrounding yourself with people who are driven, people who are passionate about what they do, helps a lot. And so I think my friend group really pushes me to be the best creative I can be, because the same way they hold me accountable, I hold them accountable for being the best collegiate player they can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is similar. I mean, sports and editing aside, or not editing, but just production in general, I mean, both a very mental, long-lasting game. You know, you're thinking about what you're doing while you're not even doing it. You know what I mean? Especially conceptualizing creatively. I mean, you'll be walking grocery shopping and you'll be like, yep, that transition needs to go in there. Or like, oh, that angle, I need to go back and get that angle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just have random creative thoughts because it's always on your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy the podcast. You might inspire me to start one, because I think it's really cool to be able to talk to creatives, talk to athletes, talk to whoever, and just have an open mic and open conversation. I think that's really cool, so I applaud you for that.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's too easy, man. You know, you got the connections. All you got to do is figure out your workflow. You know, I got this. I'll just put it out for everyone here, but I use Riverside to record, which is made for podcasting, and then I put it through Audio Enhance, which is just makes our mic sounds better. You'll have people. I mean, obviously, when you interview creatives, they're not all gonna have a Boss computer set up with a nice mic and beautiful everything. So, and you don't want to not interview them because of that. That'd be dumb. So you gotta make the sound better for your audience, or else your pod's probably not gonna be too fun to listen to. And then you put it. What do I do next? Obviously, you got to edit it. I mean, you know, Premiere or Final Cut or whatever you use. I mean, you got that down, but for someone else, they might need to figure that out a little bit. And then you find a distributor. So I use Spotify for podcasters, which used to be called Anchor, and that you just drag your file into, and then you connect it to all the different platforms, and then you just post it there once, and it distributes to all the different feeds. So like Spotify and Apple and Google or whatever. And then I don't want to edit my podcast clips, so I throw it in one of them AI short form tools, and it picks out the best moments. Now it's like 5 out of 10 of what I'd like in a podcast clip, maybe 6 out of 10. But since I already do this for clients, like, I don't want to take extra time to do my own podcast clips, so I drag it in there. You tell it how long you want it to clip from, and then it'll give me 10 or 20 clips to post, and that gives guests the opportunity, if they say something they like and you post it, and they want to repost it. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to connect with their audiences as well, because like I said, a connected world is a more fun world, you know. So that's the workflow. You should do it, man. You know enough people.
I was really interesting, though. I didn't realize AI had a short form cutter.
Yep, there's a few now. I mean, it's all based off of OpenAI. They use that. You know, it's like the API is open, or however that cool coding stuff works. And then there's just apps. You literally just drag in your file. That can be horizontal. And then based on who it talks. So let's say I talk for a minute straight about something. It's just going to make a clip with me in it. But if I talk and then you say something, it's going to clip it and it's going to crop it to me in. And then you're talking, it's going to crop it to you. And I mean, it's crazy, man. It saves me a lot of time, you know, and a 6 out of 10 clip is better than no clips. I mean, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? And we're not here for production value. We're here for good combos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to do your best to put something out, you know, at least good audio, which, you know, one AI tool that corrects that helps out with that. So, pretty easy game.
It's funny because, like, we'll talk about that in our, like, media classes here at Tech, just, like, the use of AI and how it's changing the game, like, the media world, the writing world. So it's cool that, like, you get to incorporate that into, like, your everyday workflow.
It feels good. It's one of my toolkits for sure, and a lot with content creation. I have so GPT 3.5 is available to everyone, right? You can go in, and that's what people say when they use ChatGPT. I have the 4.0 version reoccurring. It's $20 per month, and I've been using that a lot to generate images for like maybe like B-roll or saying some random stuff. So I had a guy talking about how he has his house full of Legos. So like obviously it's not full of Legos, but you can just say like generate an image full of Legos, and it's just like some dramatic image or stuff like that. I've been using that to just like not copyright for me, but like I type out generally what I want to say, and then I'll just like correct this. I mean, it's super nice. So I definitely use it every day, especially when you're like doing a little bit of website stuff and doing social media posts and stuff like that. Now it'd probably be a little harder in the creative or sports creative world, because you guys kind of already know what you want to say, like this player for 6, like that's all you got to type. The clip does it justice, but with these more like videos that I do for like realtors or like tree services, I'm not totally in the lingo of what that language is like. So you got to kind of go in and kind of learn it yourself, and then have AI kind of fill in the blanks for you. So it's super, super cool how that's coming into play. I mean, I'm sure you've seen their new model that they're working on, that Sora thing, where it's AI video. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Sora specifically, but I've seen like general just beta versions of like video editors that can literally, you type in what you want and that video pumps out.
Yep. So I've seen that, and I'm assuming what you're saying, I could be wrong, but those are kind of like dream looking, like it's like shape shifting, but still the general object is there. The thing that OpenAI is coming out with is legit like realism. Like it is insane. I'll have to send you a clip of it afterwards, but they're saying like have a middle-aged man walking in the streets of Japan, and it's literally like that's exactly what it shows, and it's perfectly shot and everything. So
that is crazy.
It is crazy, and it gets people nervous. But I saw something cool. It said when the typewriter came out, not everyone turned into Shakespeare. You know what I mean? So there still will be an art behind it. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, it's still going to need to be put together creatively for it to work out. And so I'm hopeful that it's going to be fine, but it is crazy and maybe a little nerve-wracking for some. But nuts. Something I'm curious about always, too, going back to, I want to know about the workflow that you guys go through at a football game. How many of what do you have? How you getting footage out immediately if it needs to be out, or how you getting stuff done fast? I'm really curious about that, because honestly, it helps me figure out my systems a little better, because some of the college teams, they got it down, man. They got it down.
For sure. And I think working with Night Edie at the SEC championship games, working with Peach Bowl at the Peach Bowl games.
Yeah, you've done those too. Yeah, crazy.
I think working with different teams, you learn different workflows, and I think it's really unique. I'd say so for a Georgia Tech football home game, we will start off with just like assignments. So I'll assign everybody's video position for the week. So we normally have 2 end zone shooters, a sideline shooter, a bench cam shooter, an atmosphere shooter, and then we'll have someone run cards, sort footage, label footage, etc. And so that's just on the video side of things. And then the photo side of things, my boss does photographic design. We also have an in-house photographer for athletics, and then we have one of our students, Joel, who's our other photographer. And then so for the video people, we kind of rotate just based on like what we need that game. So like, for example, Bianca's a great sideline bench shooter. And so for like homecoming game, she's going to be on the sideline and on the bench. So that's just an example of how we rotate people for different games, different circumstances. So I'll assign those pre-game or the week before, the night before. And then come game day, we have team arrival, we have pre-game warm-ups, we have locker room shots, we have tunnel run out, we have captain shots. That's all happening before the game even starts, right? So we all have different positions and different ideas and angles of where we're supposed to be. We're never really kind of crossing over each other's paths. We have about 5-6 video shooters, so there's no need for everyone to get the exact same shot. And we all know this. We all work together as a team. And if we win, we have to make a recap video and then more content along the way through the week. So we know covering the most we possibly can with different angles, different shots is going to benefit all of us in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So in-game, like the in-game footage, we have our 2 end zone shooters. We have our atmosphere shooter. We have our sideline shooter. So you're getting different angles of every single play, which is good for us. And then we have that runner who is delivering batteries, delivering water, delivering cards, sorting footage in real time, getting ready, getting one clippers edited and ready to post after the game.
Okay, so remind me, I feel like the most important part of that is the card runner, almost. How are they getting all the cards and sorting it out? It's just one person?
It's just one person.
And they're going to get the card, and then they plug the card in, and they're sorting it. They're naming them, like last name, touchdown, quarter type stuff? Or how does that work?
So our card runner will name it quickly. It's not like the set name. It's just like a batch rename in Adobe Bridge, and then we'll star the best clips for the recap editor to make the recap video, which gets turned around the next day. And then we'd all go back, sort our own footage with the proper naming scheme. But just because that takes a long time to sort footage and label every single clip, we kind of batch rename everything just for the recap editor to have. And then so for the recap editor to know which clips are good, every time there's a good play, we shoot the lights on the next video. Or I know a lot of people shoot their hands or shoot the scoreboard. So there's different way creative mark their clips in camera. And so we always shoot lights or scoreboard or the hand.
Dang. So you, for the most part, you guys are taking your own stuff back and naming that like officially kind of a thing?
Yeah.
But the reason you got like the card runner, they're mostly getting it super fast ready for the recap the next day.
Yes, because the recap gets posted the next day at 8 p.m., that editor has a tall task ahead of them.
Yeah.
So anything that can help with sorting footage or picking the best clips out for them helps tremendously. Saves hours of time.
And how do y'all not mix up SDs? You got like writing on them? Is that safe for an SD card? Can you be?
So we have sticky notes by the desk of the runner.
Okay.
And so each sticky note has the person's name, the camera number, or the camera letter. So like Cam A, Cam B are end zone shooters. Cam C is sideline shooter. Cam D is bench shooter. Cam E is atmosphere. So those cards will go on sticky notes. That way each card is organized. Once they're dumped, they can be returned back to the shooter.
Okay. Got you. And they're dumping everything on the one.
Dumping everything, and they're pulling selects. They're pulling the best clips for the recap.
The best. Gotcha. And how often do they come to you to pull those cards?
They try to do it every quarter.
Every quarter, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought maybe that'd be too often, but no, that's insane. Wait, they're getting some cardio in.
They really are. And our office isn't like right next to the field. You kind of have to go up a set of stairs, run up through a hallway.
Yeah.
So it's a workout, but we try to help them pregame, halftime, and postgame with sorting.
Yeah.
Just because we're not always doing too much in between takes or in between quarters. So anytime we can help the runner, we will.
Yeah.
Just because that job, it sounds really like, I don't know, it sounds like you're not shooting the game, but it's important. It's just as important as shooting at the end zone or shooting the atmosphere, because you're the reason the recap gets done on time.
I mean, I said it. I'm like, out of all those, the most important is the person running those cards. Holy moly.
But you really got to be a team player for that, right? And so it goes back to what Georgia Tech football looks for in prospective students is we're looking for kids and we're looking for creatives who are willing to be the runner for a game, right?
Yeah.
And I've been there the longest as a student, and I ran 2 games last season.
And
so
out of the home games, that's quite a few. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that even, the student that's been there the longest, still running cards, still sorting footage.
Yeah.
We try to make it equal and fair for everyone, right? Like one time I'll be runner, next time Bianca will be runner, next time Div will be runner. That's just because I think it's important for everyone to kind of experience different shooting places and running cards and taking on like one for the team. So when we look for prospective students coming out of high school, we want to look for those kids who are ready and willing to be the runner, who are like excited to be the runner.
Yeah. How the heck would you track down the atmosphere person as a runner?
That one's hard. Because that atmosphere person, that's almost like a creative. At that point, it's creative angle. Like that person goes wherever they want. Student section, band, like season ticket holders on the field, up in the sky. So that's probably the hardest one to track. And if we don't get to it every quarter, that's okay. But every half, we try to dump it just to make sure we have the footage that the runner can start pulling that footage out.
You probably don't need that one every quarter. Yeah, half's probably good with that.
I will say the process that we run game day with isn't perfect, right? There's always ways to make it more efficient, to make it better, to make it less running. But I think for us who Georgia Tech football doesn't have a full-time video person right now. So for the students running it and my boss who does photograph design helping out with it, like I think we're doing a pretty good job with it. And like I said, that's also another reason why there's a lot of opportunity for students is we don't have a full-time video person. So the past 2 years, I've got to make the intro video for the football team. Like but right before they run out the tunnel, I got to make that video. And normally a student doesn't get that opportunity, right, to edit that video. No. So there's a lot of work that comes with not having a full-time video person, but there comes a lot of opportunities when you don't have one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw your jersey video. That one was fun. You know, seeing all the different jerseys and the history behind it. I mean, that's stuff you don't see students making. You know what I mean? You know,
right.
The big videos like that. Who's doing the recaps?
So I did most of them this season. Bianca did one of them as well. Bianca's the After Effects queen. I mean, she does C4D, she does After Effects. Yeah. So she kind of has our like special effects down. But she's done a recap. I've done, how many wins we had this season? 7. So I did 6 of the 7 recaps.
Nice.
And like as a student, that's a lot to ask, but I really enjoy it. And I think it's a grind. Like that Saturday night when the game is over and you're editing and sorting, and then that Sunday morning you wake up and you finish it. Like it's a grind for sure, but I really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, man. That's crazy. First of all, that method, I mean, the way you guys do things, I feel like it's pretty tried and true. Like it's hard to make a mistake with that when you got people covering everything. Like it seems a great way to do things without getting into like the wireless receiver type stuff. Right. You know what I mean? What have you seen from other schools that has like wowed you, or if anything? Like, have you seen any of that?
Yeah, so Abby Slazek from Clemson. Okay. You know Abby?
Yeah.
She took me through Clemson athletics, like their building, and the way they have their checkout system for their equipment is really cool. It's all online. There's QR codes that you can scan and check out equipment for, and it gives all their full-time people access to see who has what equipment and when it's being returned. I think that's a really cool system to have. And for us at football, since we're not too big and we don't cover all the sports, we don't have a checkout system like that. It's kind of just like ask the boss. If she says yes, take it, return it, stuff like that. And we've lost things like that before. Whereas Clemson, there's always a tracker. There's always something where you can hold someone accountable for bringing it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought that was really unique. And just the amount of equipment Clemson had was pretty extensive. So it's cool to see other schools' creative media teams just to see how they run things, their operations, and the equipment they have and what they use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. She was my 3rd episode, so way back, which is fun. It's been fun keeping track with her and what she's up to. She's done some sick stuff too, man.
Yeah, she's with softball right now, I believe, because she goes different sports each season. So she was soccer in the fall, softball now. So seeing different sports content like that, I think it's really cool. And Abby's always killing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I loved. She had a season where she was doing those edits that were getting on Visco somehow. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember those.
Yeah, I don't know. She put those out, and I talked about them in our pod, and she's like, yeah, those were whatever. I'm like, yo, those were sick. What are you talking about? Oh, she's fun. What was she in? What was she overseas for? Oh, I forgot.
She was studying abroad. I think she was definitely in Europe studying abroad.
Oh, I feel like she did something work-related. Not work, but like video-related.
One of the basketball teams.
Yes.
That's
fun.
It is a unique perk. Like I guess something I'm looking forward to is spring break. I'm going with Georgia Tech cheerleading to Ireland.
Wow. That's coming up.
We're doing a lot of promotional content for our football game, which is in August in Ireland against FSU. So some of the cheer team is going.
Why? Wait, why? Why is
it trying to promote college football internationally?
Okay.
We're in like a huge rugby stadium. So imagine a bunch of Irish people with their beers in the stands.
That'll be awesome, dude. So cheerleading's checking it out now, and you're going with?
Yeah, and we're shooting a lot of like promotional content, sponsorship content.
Okay.
So it'll be really cool. I've never been to Ireland, so I'm really excited to
Oh.
get a beer at a pub,
Yeah.
look around Dublin,
Yeah.
and then see the stadium we're playing at.
Almost during St. Patrick's Day too.
We land the day before St. Patrick's.
Oh, you will?
Or sorry, the day after. Yeah. So we won't be there, but hopefully they celebrate all week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, get a stout or something. I don't know. A little.
100%. That's the goal. That's my goal, is to celebrate there, but also, it's a work trip, it's a business trip, so get good content.
Dude, if I could get a stout in a pub in Ireland, that's a good life. That's a good situation to be in.
100%. And it'll be cool to scout Ireland now in March before football goes over there in August.
Yeah, because a lot of your shots will have to be atmosphere outside of the stadium too. You know what I mean? Like location shots, because obviously we're not in Atlanta anymore. We're not in wherever FSU is. What is that? Tuscaloosa? No. Yeah. Tallahassee. My bad. What's Tuscaloosa? That's Alabama. Duh. Yeah, I was on the right track. Dang it. Is the college abroad, is that an ACC thing, or is that something that, like, who decided we need to promote college sports overseas?
I think it was a mix of companies. There's one company that's sponsoring the whole game, which is the Aerolineas. I don't want to butcher the name because they're our sponsor. So let me. It's an airline.
Okay.
Let's see, Alias Airline,
and that's a GT sponsor.
It's more of the game sponsor. So they play in Aviva Stadium with this airline that is sponsoring the game.
Okay.
And so they're actually flying us out to the game.
Yeah.
I really don't want to butcher the name. So Aer Lingus, yes.
Gotcha.
So the Aer Lingus company is flying football out to play in Aviva Stadium. So
right.
A lot of sponsors. College Game Day will be there for week 0, so that'll be really exciting.
Wow.
So it's a pretty big deal, I would say.
I would say so. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that so far, besides like NFL.
Right. Yeah.
That's wild. That is wild. Dang. Well, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So I'd say that's kind of what's up next for you. You could go to Ireland, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to say before the pod ends that everyone got to try boba. Free boba plug right here.
Yeah.
Go try boba tea in your area. Your life may be changed. But get some Asian culture in you and try some boba tea.
Can you enlighten me? What kind of boba you be getting? You be getting those like fruit poppers, or you get those nice and chonky ones?
So the real answer is it depends where you go.
All right.
But I would say like a traditional milk tea with the black tapioca pearls.
Yeah.
Those are like my signature go-to.
Yeah.
But you also have different places that are good at fruit teas, right? With the little like mango popping, strawberry popping boba. It really depends on the location and place you're at. But I'll always go for a milk tea if I can, just because that's more authentic.
Dang, I might have to grab one tonight just to be on brand with, the pod I just recorded. You know what I'm saying?
You got to put that picture in the pod too.
Yeah. Oh, the AI thing, it'll do AI B-roll too. So
that is crazy.
It will look up, Pexels, right?
I've heard of it.
Pexels is that stock footage thing. So we'll talk, and I'll just say it. We're talking about boba tea right now, and then AI will be like, search up boba tea on Pexels, and it'll throw the first result in there. So while we're talking, it'll try to put a clip on top of that. And if it sucks, you can switch it. I've seen some more sus stuff come up that I was recording that had nothing to do with what we were talking about, but it hits pretty hard. And another thing, too, that they're working on is... So yeah, there's stock footage, but another thing, and this is just because I'm talking about how Boba would go on the screen. That's why I'm talking about this. But I just want to wow you too. They're gonna have that AI image tool, so maybe it's talking about something that wouldn't be on Pexels, like a unicorn in Georgia Tech Stadium. Like that's not gonna be in the Pexels stock footage inventory. So now it's gonna search it and put it into that AI database and create it, and then probably put it on top. So nuts. Well, let's hope. I'll see if it puts boba on top, and we'll see if that works. But dude, I appreciate you for coming on. I mean, it's been fun. Like I said, I've mentioned you on here with all the different sports creatives many times. So it's good to have you on. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Isaac.
Yeah. Peace out. Let me know if you need anything. I'll be fun to continue supporting you, man. And enjoy your time in Ireland.
Appreciate it. And likewise too, you know, keep your company going, keep the pod going.
Appreciate it.
It's pretty cool to see, you know, as a fellow creative, it's always cool to see other creatives thrive. So
yeah,
appreciate for having me on. And, you know, we both up.
Yeah.
See you, boys.
Let's go. See you, man.